Right.
Okay. All right, Sue, we are still at the CBC
Yes,
rocking
we are.
the, what do we call
Winter
it?
Media
Winter Media Day.
Day.
It's right there, it's right there.
Oh, there you go.
And we are talking with the series showrunner and one of the RCMPs involved in the series of The Detectives.
Season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah.
Season 3. Right? And first off, thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
36 years, man. That's
A few years.
Yeah, it's a little
Few
bit,
years.
a little chunk of time.
No better career. No better career.
Really?
Oh, no better career. If I could start off again tomorrow and as a young pup, I'd start off again. It's just phenomenal.
Now, okay, to dive into that for a sec, I mean, did you start, I mean, it's going to sound walking a beat kind of thing. I mean, how did you start?
Well, I can tell you, when I was 14 years old, first of all, my parents had 10 children.
Oh my God.
I'm second to 10. There's 11 months between myself and my oldest, and a year and 2 days between myself and number 3. So obviously, with 10 children, you don't go to the restaurant every second day. So Mom and Dad would take us out to the restaurant one time a year, and two of us are in May, one of us are in June. And my father was a police officer. He's a retired police officer in the RCMP. And so we're on our way to the restaurant, and Dad slams the brakes. We're on a little bridge. He slams the brakes, opens the door. Of course, we have seatbelts back then. And he jumps out. I'm looking at Mom. I'm looking at a couple of my brothers. I said, Jesus, where's Dad going? He was chasing somebody. I hadn't seen him, but a car had hit the corner of the bridge. And he was down on the bridge. And Dad never brought his work home. And he was chasing this guy. And I got caught up in it. I got out of the car and I'm watching, and Dad grabbed this guy and brought him back. Of course, the guy was impaired. And I got home that night, and never mind the Montreal Canadiens and Chicago Blackhawks, because we would fight over that, right? I was a Canadian fan, and some of my brothers were Chicago, but I said, you know what? That's where I'm going. So when I graduated from high school, I said to Dad and Mom, I said, I'm not going to university. I'm going to find a summer job, and I'm going to go do police work. Dad said, no. That's not how you're going to do that. You're going to go to university, then you can be a police officer. So I did. I went to university, got a degree, just a basic undergraduate degree, and I joined the RCMP immediately. I was transferred to the province of Quebec, and I cried like a baby. I said, no, I'm not going to the province of Quebec. I'm going to wear a uniform, I'm going to have a gun on my hip, I'm going to do like my dad did. And I got to the province of Quebec, and I absolutely fell in love with investigations and police work. And it was a 36-year roller coaster. And I've told all our children, we've got 6 children, and I said every single one of them, I don't care what your career is. I don't care if you pick up garbage. I don't care if you want to be a doctor, what you want to do. Put a smile on your face, enjoy the work you're doing, get up in the morning, and if they pay you, that's a good day. I want to tell you, my career, I left on a high note, a smile on my face. I'm still involved as a consultant, and I can't complain. Life is good. So life is better since I've met Petro, and the detectives got me involved. So I appreciate it.
And Petro, how does that work? I mean, do you go through case files?
Yes.
And how do you get access to something like that?
Yes, that's a very good question. The last 2 years, actually, we've been working with RCMP. So we did season 1 without RCMP. We were doing work with them at the time yet. They saw our show. They liked the way we portrayed police. They liked the way we were sensitive to the families. We weren't sensational. We weren't salacious. And we started developing a relationship together. So then we started finding stories either in court records or old newspapers and so on that we found interesting, and they would pitch us stories as well. Say, hey, here's a case that really profiles police work very well, or we think might fit what you guys are trying to do, and that's how we met Gerry. So Gerry's case came to us. We looked at the case. The case was extremely emotionally difficult. It was a very heavy case. It was a case that took a lot of smart work. It was a case that took a lot of patience. Real patience that had spread many years. So, and then we met Gerry. We said, okay, Gerry is a very articulate, smart, kind human being. That's the kind of person we want on camera. And then the next step was seeing how the family feels about telling the story. And so the ex-husband of the deceased and the father of the child that was killed, we reached out to him, spent time with him, and he was very generous and said he wants the story told. He would like the world to know what police did. And you put all that together and you say, okay, let's do this episode. And that's how we have this episode.
And what I really appreciated of the program is their taste, the tactfulness that they use. the family and Larry today really appreciated that, because the story was told. And when we talk about a factual show, this is a factual show, and it was done in good taste, like in really good taste. And it's a difficult topic. I wear it on my chest every day, but it's a difficult topic to open up and talk to community about.
Right.
But it needs to be told. The story needs to be told. Even in little communities in Eastern Canada, we've got some bad people, and the way that they went about it, the way the detectives went about it through Petro and his team, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So.
And then, of course, it's a dramatized version of the case. So you've got Alan Hocko basically playing you. That's got to be.
It's like looking in a mirror, yeah.
I was impressed. I saw myself with hair.
We've thrown it together as not a fictionalized account, but a retelling of a case. One, was it tough for you to go through it again? And were there things obviously that were changed for storytelling purposes, or to condense time, to condense characters, that kind of thing?
It was emotional because it's like anything else. When people pass away, it's not about the people that leave us, it's the people that are left behind. And so when I think of the case, it brings back certain emotions.
Sure.
And sometimes just on a pulse. But that's not a bad thing, because it shows the human side of police officers. A lot of them think, the guy wears a uniform, or the female member wears a uniform, and life is great. Well, life's not always great. We're human beings as well, and all we are is an extension of the community with a little bit of training, and hopefully a lot of common sense, a little bit of training, and with the assistance from folks like you people in the community, we get to solve these crimes. But having said that, we also get to wear some of the issues that the general public doesn't really need to know. It's how you manage it, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's a time to compartmentalize when you're doing police work, and there's a time to let yourself go. And so I'm at that stage right now where I can let myself go. And in this particular story, one of the bad guys, one of the original bad guys, turned out to be one of my best friends. And the only time in a 36-year career I've allowed anybody from my professional world into my private world. So this one's more kind of special to me than the typical one. So.
And then just the whole concept of the fact that you guys get to tell these stories, and like you said, it gets to humanize a lot of the police officers. Yeah, you're right. In today's society, people just kind of see the uniform.
You see what you want to see.
Yeah. And then with series like these, you can see that, yes, it's human beings putting this work together to solve things, to make a better society, for want of not sounding too poetic.
Well, like closure, right?
Yeah.
For the families,
it's closure, and the public's entitled to see that.
Yeah.
It's not all about the color red. I'll leave it at that. There's a lot of red issues going on in police work, and it's good for the community to see right across the country. And in this particular case that these guys jumped on, it took us 13 years. You want to exercise patience. There's an example, right? So at least you'll see that. Trust us. We'll trust you. We're part of you. And eventually, as a team, things work out. Normally, things work out. Should work out. So in this case, it did.
And Petra, how do you choose the cases?
That's an excellent question. We have a team of researchers. So what we do is depending on the cases, like this is an RCMP case, but basically across the board, we look through newspapers, old court records, all kinds of things. At this point, we have good relationships with police departments who also pitch us stories. We find stories that will work for television, where there is a 1 hour of story to be told.
Right.
We look for detectives who are articulate, who want to speak about the case, who are emotionally connected to the case, who will be a good spokesperson for the case, and then we also reach out to the communities and the families. And if all that fits together, then we do the story. If one part of that isn't working, we pass on the story. So we have passed on stories where the families have felt it hits too close to home. Even if the mystery is great, even if the detective is wonderful, we just don't do it. So that's been that's how we find our cases, and we've had great success. Police departments across the country come to us, give us great stories. In this case, RCMP brought us this story, and that's how it's been working.
Sounds like a whole line of books right there. Waiting to be read.
Seriously.
Our victim, surviving victim, in this case the ex-husband, I pushed hard for him to become part of a committee for meetings across the country for victims. survivors, because we have a tendency to forget those people. And so in this particular case, I was able to get Larry involved, and not wanting to fly in planes and scared of planes, we arranged right from the get-go to make sure that he and his wife at that time were able to make their way to Ottawa and spend a week in Ottawa, get involved, and he became an advocate for victims across the country. And to this very day, Larry often picks up the phone and speaks to people that happen to be wearing the same shoes that he wore at one time. And it's difficult for us to put ourselves in that position because hopefully we'll never be there. But guys like Larry have, and they've done well from that point on. So
that is amazing. Thank you for your time, and cannot wait to see more.
Just all
More.
Thank you
Thanks so much,
for doing
guys.
this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Go through.
Thank you.
Thanks
There
so
it is.
much. Thank you.